It's the fluid that's under the van here on the wheel. There's a little drip here on this plate, and to me this is clear and there's no scent to it. It doesn't seem like it's axle grease. That's a good sign. That means it might just be the brakes. Anyhow, I'm gonna double check this breather tube up here, wipe this down, tighten this nut on there, pull this wheel, and inspect what's going on. So as I wipe down the inside of here, that's pretty black. So I'm gonna have to pull the caliper here, pop this off, and then take a look at what's going on. I don't know what you can see. I'm moving this camera around here, so put you on a wider angle. There we go. So let's get to the next part of this. Once again, using the Gore-Tex jack, which is just perfect. I put a jack stand under here to be a little extra safe. It is funny, and you guys know this more than I do. You know, you jack up on your axle and it has to lift up the suspension and everything. And there's not a good body spot on this van to put a jack stand, so. All right, so yeah, it's the seal. It's got to be the seal here. There's actually some right in there. I'm going to get my finger in there. So yeah, there's a bunch of grease sitting in that. So this is the emergency brake setup here, which, you know, I've never done my rear brakes. I've done my front brakes multiple times, but not the rears. But this is the emergency brake cable set up here. It's like a drum brake, so it has an adjuster on it right there. And there's a bunch of grease in here, and I guess this is gear oil. So it's definitely the seal. It doesn't look like it's blown, you know what I mean? Just there's grease that pushed past it. And somebody gave me a tip. They said that it could be that breather is blocked up, and if it is, maybe that's why grease would be blowing through the bolts there. So I'll go ahead and check that real quick. I mean, I don't know what I can do. I'll pull it off and try to blow through it, see what's up. But worst case scenario, I've got to open up the rear case on this and pull out the axles, you know, drain the fluid, replace it. And like I said, it's been 2 years since I did that with the new posi, and I was told at so many miles I should do that anyhow. So it's probably time for that. I don't want to do it, but you know, that's part about life, you know, especially man stuff, you know, a little lesson you teach your kids. Part about being a man is doing the things that you don't want to do without bitching about it. Let me see if I notice anything else. I'm going to button this back up, put the wheel on so it's safe. Get underneath there and mess with that breather tube and whatnot. We'll see what that tells me. Because that, I can't spin this because I've got posi. I'd have to get both wheels up off the ground to make them turn. But the little bit I can move this in here, and I can move it in and out just that much. That's probably the right amount of play you need for that C-clip in there. But looking at that, I don't see any cracks in that seal. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get in there with a rag, wipe it up, feel it around my fingers. But that looks good to me. The seal looks okay to me. So I could see what this guy was saying, whoever you are that left that comment. Make sure we're all the way out on this, yeah. If that breather's blocked, apparently pressure could build up in here and then force the grease out, which means the seal's not bad. It's just a pressure issue. I'm not a mechanic, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm guessing at this. But I guess the thing to do is clean up off all the oil, clean the breather tube, and then eyeball it as time goes by to see if any more grease, because I'm not hearing any whining. There's no weird noises or anything like that. Like there's no other signs that there was anything wrong other than seeing the wetness there. So in my brain, I'm starting to think like maybe this is not a big deal. Maybe this just is a back pressure issue. But you know what? Feel free to leave a comment down there. Video's not over yet. All right, so this is all pretty well degreased. This stuff here is pretty good. I think Dave turned me onto this. So I'm inspecting this visually and feeling it, you know. The seal doesn't look bad at all. It's not busted out, blown out. Can't see what you see here. Apologies. Okay, there we go. And so I don't know, but I wiped all the grease off. I'm going to clean off the caliper a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to button this back up. Wanted to point out, you know, I used the ratchet with an 18 mil socket here, and I put this pipe on this for leverage. Break those bolts free that held the caliper in place. That's just a little tip for you with your own kit. Always have a little pipe for something like that. I'm going to clean up the rest of this, put the tire back on, lower it back down, work on the breather tube and that cover. I'm going to degrease all that, tighten things up, and then see where that goes. And after that, it's visual. It's not over yet, though. Wanted to point out to you also that this is totally degreased. It was full of grease, and now you can see nothing comes off on my hand. So I had to clean the whole inside of this, because this is what I'll see from outside. You know, I'll be looking through here, looking inside here, and also see if anything blows out along here. All right, so I cleaned this all up, and I was able to put a good turn, like a half a turn or more on every bolt on there. Every one of them. So I also pulled off the breather tube and cleaned that up, and I was able to blow through it. I could probably find a guy in West Hollywood to blow harder than I can, because I'm not a professional, but I'm not friends with any of those guys anymore. Anyhow, let me know what you think. I'm wondering, the seal look good. I mean, could it be if these were all slightly loose? You know, that's just normal, right? Expansion, contraction from heat. And we knew we had a little bit of weeping here. If that was loose enough for that to weep, could that create some bizarre vacuum effect that would force oil out the seal? Or am I just wishful thinking, imagining things? You guys are better mechanics than I am, some of you, and you can let me know. I'm also going to send this video to my guy and ask him to eyeball it for me, and I'll probably send it down to Ken at Performance 4x4. I think that's what it's called. So if either one of you guys are watching this, let me know what you think, fellas, and let's get this solved. That's it for now. You guys be good to one another. I'll catch you all in the next one.